if God is love, then why throughout history and in the Bible does God tell people, his people, to go kill other people who he claims to equally love? This is a question I've never been able to reconcile. And it's questions like this that are the reason I created this video series, Questions for Christians. And it's not to stir up controversy, it's to ask questions that a lot of people are wondering and have always wondered, but they're afraid to ask in church. And it's not like all of these questions I don't know the answers to, at least the answers I've been given. I grew up in church. I went to Bible college. I know all the canned answers that the church generally gives to these. And I've been through all the theological discussions that go into the weeds and over most people's heads, honestly. And sometimes I think that's a way of getting around answering the question. Not in every case, but I've seen that happen before. And so if you see me looking down today, I do have some notes here I'm reading off of because there are a number of things I want to say here that I'm probably just not going to remember offhand. But yeah, that's the big question. I mean, in 1 John 4, verse 8, as well as 4, verse 16, and other places in the Bible, we're told that God is love. So love. And, the big question is, if God is love, why has he told people to go kill each other throughout history? We look in the Old Testament, we see that. And I know a lot of people say, well, that was Old Testament. Jesus came in the New Testament. Now it's all about love. Well, the Bible also says that God, that he's love and he's the same yesterday, today, and forever, meaning that God is unchanging. The nature of God is unchanging. So that wouldn't change from Old to New Testament. And I'm quoting Hebrews 13:8 right there. So how can God be the opposite of his own nature, of love? Examples of this would be when he told the Israelites to kill the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, all the other ites. So you can go look those up, and there's pretty violent language that he tells them to do, and to destroy all of them, to kill their men, their women, their little kids, destroy their animals, destroy the land. I don't know. I mean, we were always taught in church that God is love, but why would you tell people to go kill other people that you also love and created, and then preach a message of love? That's the opposite of love. And people get into that too. Oh, the opposite of love. And, they have different definitions. Again, that whatever. Let's keep this on the surface. But to me, that's like telling I have two kids, Blake and Kaylee, my son and daughter. That's like telling my son to go brutally murder my daughter because she didn't do what she was told. And vice versa. It'd be like telling my daughter Kaylee to go brutally murder my son because he didn't do what he was told. I wouldn't do that. I want you to think of your kids' names. You might have 2 or 3 kids. Think of your kids' names right now. Now imagine telling one of them to go murder the other one because they didn't do what they were told. Brutally murder. Like swords, knives, like that's how they did it. And vice versa. Now tell the other one to go do that to the other one because they didn't do what they were told. And you're being commanded by a God who loves us to do this. I know it feels awkward, and it's something nobody ever likes to ask or talk about because it goes against the flow of what you generally hear in church. And so, according to the Bible, God commanded these types of mass killings, not just one person, but entire nations, ethnic cleansing, genocide. Joshua chapter 6, verse 17 and 21. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 16 and 17. Just a couple examples. You can go look those up if you want. But here's my big thing, and this will take about a minute and a half to read. Put it down on my phone, just some thoughts I had. How does a God of love have the ability to be the opposite of love, defying his own nature of love, by telling one group of people who he created to go kill and murder and violently destroy another group of people? Again, their men, their women, their little kids, their animals, destroy their possessions that he also created, but at the same time having an eternal love for both groups of people because they're both his creation. Why would a God of love tell a group of people to go commit acts of genocide and ethnic cleansing against another group of people he equally loves and created? That makes God's people, in the Bible at least, no better than the Taliban and what happened on 9/11. I mean, they also believed God was telling them to kill people, which is concerning. And we didn't like that very much. So I wouldn't imagine the Hittites and the Canaanites and all the otherites, they probably didn't like that either. And I'm not sure God was really expressing his love toward his creation in that way. Again, that confuses me. Even the suicide bomber who severely injured me when he tried to kill me in Afghanistan all those years ago, he believed God told him to do that. And it just sounds like some of the stories in the Bible. But how can a God of love tell people to commit such violence against other people he claims to love? Because I mean, I've been around situations of extreme violence many times in my life, and it's very uncomfortable and it's deeply disturbing. From the unstable and sometimes violent house I grew up in to fighting the war in Afghanistan as an infantry soldier. Violence is a deeply disturbing thing on a level a lot of people who have not experienced it can't understand. I don't know why God would tell one group of people who he loves to go do that to another group of people who he also created and equally loves, when ultimately he is the ultimate source of love that exists. And I believe that. I believe God is love. I do. Again, I grew up in the church and I've been to Bible college. I know all the answers, the rebuttals, the arguments. I know I'll get a lot of those in the comments, but please understand, I know those already. But I'm just looking at this at face value. All right. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, many of those answers have not resolved. At least for me. Again, I would never tell my kids to go violently murder each other, my son or daughter. One of my only conclusions is that God is either not love, which I don't believe that's the case, or the version of God we've been sold, that we've constructed as humans, is not love. I don't know. But we definitely have a problem here. How can God be love, or at least the version of God we've been sold be love, if such opposite acts of love and acts of violence against each other have been ordered by God to commit against each other? I mean, did he tell Hitler to murder 6 million Jews and millions more minorities during World War II? I mean, Hitler did the same thing as the Israelites did in the Old Testament, right? And same thing Taliban did on 9/11. And they've been doing for a long time. Another radical religion, Muslim extremists. They all think God is telling them to do this. What makes this any better than Hitler? This isn't meant to be critical or divisive or controversial, but it's just an honest question. So if that question upsets you, I would encourage you to look in the mirror and ask yourself why. I'm literally just asking this because I don't understand and I'm seeking clarity. What do you think? I would love your thoughts. Again, it's if God is love, why has he apparently told people to go kill other people who he also created and equally loves?